Hey, what up everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you here on STS Radio. Today we're going to be talking all about the upcoming Survivor Series pay-per-view, which is going to be on the WWE Network. Of course, everybody knows with the last numbers release, which was the day before Halloween, WWE honestly isn't having the greatest success on the WWE Network. I think that honestly, as far as a fan, I'm getting 100% of the value for what is going on. But I think there's not a lot of fans out there like me. If you go back to the last edition of STS Radio, we talked all about the WWE Network, the ups, the downs, things that I liked, things that I didn't like, things that should change, things that they need to add. We did a good hour-long discussion talking all about that. But basically, the one thing we didn't really talk about was the fact that, do fans really want to watch wrestling any time of the day they want to? I know that WWE really does a great number on WWE sales, whether if it's the documentary releases like the last release, Macho Man release that just came out on Tuesday this week, or 3-disc sets, sort of like as the WCW Oh My God set which just came out, or best of ladder matches, best of TLC, things like that have come out in the past. People can go to the store, whether if it's Kmart, Walmart, Target, they can pick up the WWE DVDs, they can bring them home, and they can sort of sit them on the shelves and put them in there for viewing as they need to along the way. But do they really need their own channel to turn on and basically watch, whatever they want to? I think that honestly, when I sit down, it's a lot like my DVD collection at home, whether if I'm talking about my wrestling DVDs from WWE, WCW, TNA, now I'm starting to pick up a few PWG ones. Make sure you head on over and check out the PWG Winter Sale. Pick your own 5 DVDs from their collection for only $40. I highly recommend you pick up the Best of El Generico as one of the 5. I think that one's going to be very, very good. I've watched those matches, and I really, really enjoyed them. I think that you guys will too. Of course, El Generico is Sami Zayn, if you've been living under a rock for the past 2 or 3 years and didn't know El Generico went to WWE. But, I highly recommend you pick that up. And then 11 was a really good show, and from there on out, I'm lying to you if I've told you I've seen any other one. 7 was good. I watched that one when I had some buddies over at the house, and I really liked seeing that was, of course, Daniel Bryan coming back to PWG for the first time after being fired from WWE after the incident with the Justin Roberts and the tie. It was before SummerSlam 2010. So go check that out if you get a chance. But honestly, when it comes down to the WWE Network, what have they really done for us in this last month to really show us, there's a value in watching this? They haven't really done anything that's been, top notch to make you really have to go to the network like you really want to see this. After Monday, it was cool that they ran a 15-minute preview of the Macho Man DVD. That sort of helps them out, and that's one thing that I think they would use the WWE Network for, is get fans to go over and buy the Macho Man DVD the next day, raise awareness that they have products out there on the shelves that you can run out there and pick up. The WWE Rivalries is a good series that just started. They've shown some episodes of the Monday Night War series. I don't really think those are really good shows to really bring people in to watch, but as a wrestling, I guess you can say historian, somebody who wants to get as much knowledge as I can about things that are out there, they're good for me. Basically, I don't really know to fringe fans if they really want to go and watch, Survivor Series 1996. That was the pay-per-view that they hyped up the other day, that you can go to it and watch. And they were, using that as like, hey, you can watch this show. I mean, honestly, it has the debut of The Rock, and it has, I think, a few other matches. I can't really think off the top of my head what happened on that show. But, is that something that you really want to watch instead of watching, whatever's on CBS on Monday nights? Whether if it's, I know How I Met Your Mother is gone, but there's The Big Bang Theory and Two Broke Girls and this, that, or the other. I don't know about you. I'd rather watch comedy, and I love wrestling, so I don't really know if there is this sort of round-the-clock thing. Build up your on-demand section. I think that's the one thing that you could be selling, is you could be watching anything at any time. If you follow the WWE Network, they have great suggestions that they tweet out about things that are going down. I really love it early in the morning. They will normally tweet out, on this day in wrestling history. You could also follow the history of WWE. They tweet out things that are just like this, and that sort of sparks your interest to go back and watch something that happened on this day in the past. Whether, especially if it's in the last 2-3 years, because you really freshly remember it, and you're like, damn, I really want to watch that. Or maybe they might bring up a good pay-per-view somewhere along the way. But honestly, to me, I think if they're giving us the Survivor Series pay-per-view, and this is supposed to be I love this. This is awesome. They're hyping up, if you've never seen a WWF pay-per-view, if you've never seen a WWE pay-per-view, this is the pay-per-view to get. The main event is the biggest match of all time. Team Cena versus Team Authority in a traditional Survivor Series elimination team match. Stipulation, if Team Authority loses, Triple H and Stephanie will no longer be the Authority, and added on Friday is going to be, if Team Cena loses, all members of Team Cena will be fired and no longer work for the WWE anymore. They're hyping it up that this is the biggest match of all time. You're telling me that this match right here is bigger than Daniel Bryan versus Triple H, or Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton and Batista in that three-way for the main event? This is bigger than Hogan versus Andre. This is bigger than Rock versus Hogan. This is bigger than Austin versus Rock. You gotta be kidding me. How is Survivor Series going to be bigger than WrestleMania? WrestleMania is a show that, if you look at the card, most of the time there's 5 matches that you really care about, that they really put a lot of time in. Most of the feuds have been running since January, and you just want to see something blow off and explode. Every once in a while, WrestleMania is used as sort of like the start of the feud, like John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. But for the most part, WrestleMania is supposed to be that exclamation point. It's the celebration of wrestling. And here we are with Survivor Series, the show that's supposed to be getting everybody saying, like, wow, the network's worth some money. We got an elimination Survivor Series, traditional match. I don't want to get down on this for so long, because, the Survivor Series is what the Survivor Series is. And as a purist, this is supposed to be what the main event is. But then, look, they did their best. If you think about the guys that are in WWE, more than likely the biggest names are in this match. But then it sort of shows you how weak WWE is right now. You got 2 Divas matches. One's a Divas Championship match with Nikki going up against AJ. You've got a traditional Survivor Series elimination match with the Divas, led up by Natalya versus Paige as sort of the captains. From there, you go to one match that people might care about. Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt. And then we have the I can't remember, 4 corners. I can't remember if it's an elimination match. It better be an elimination match, because how are these 5 matches going to fill a card? They've added that they're not going to tell us what's going down with the pre-show, but Fandango is going to be wrestling a match against an unknown opponent. Wade Barrett is supposed to be making his return. To me, when you look at it, they don't have a picture of Wade Barrett as a wrestler. They have him sort of in a suit and tie. I think that he's going to be making his return in some sort of a role, in doing some sort of a promo. I don't know if he's going to be running the gavel gimmick, where he has the little podium that goes up and down. But just to me, when I read the release, what they said about Wade Barrett coming back, it doesn't really sound like he's going to be in a wrestling fashion. I don't want to be down on this show too much. I love the WWE Network. The $10 they take out of my account every month is well spent. I'm loving the fact that I'm going to be able to come home from work on Sunday and watch a 3-hour wrestling show that is going to be better than Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. It's going to be, the bar is going to be raised a little bit. It is a pay-per-view, if you say that's what they still are. And I'm loving the fact that I don't have to watch this on a little tiny internet stream, or I don't have to watch this off a downloaded torrent. I don't have to try and feel guilty about watching Scramble Vision and not paying for it if we're back in the day. But honestly, it's going to be a show. It's not going to be a great show. It might be a good show. There's a good chance it might be a bad show. But we're going to talk all about it. We're going to talk about the ups. We're going to talk about the downs. And so somehow, get through this. So buckle up. sit down. This is the first part of many. We're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back. But that's your build-up for STS Radio. We're talking all about Survivor Series, and we'll get deep down into it. First match of the show is going to be a Divas traditional Survivor Series elimination tag team match. Nothing really big from this match, just a whole lot of girls basically in there. It looks like just about all of the Diva division is going to be used on the show other than Brie. I think Brie is more than likely going to be sucked into the AJ and Nikki match, being out there as her servant, so they probably didn't want her wrestling on the show and then being used as a manager later on in the show. But as of right now, it's Emma. Shoot, man, I haven't seen these girls in so long. I haven't watched Total Divas at all. If you look at all of this show, it looks like the Total Divas complete roster. I don't know if Layla's been added to that show yet, but I know that Alicia Fox is added to the new upcoming season, which is going to be going down. But there's I can't look at this girl and remember her name. Her name is Naomi. Emma, Naomi, Alicia Fox, and Natalia as the captain, going up against Paige. We have Cameron, Summer Rae, and Layla. Who can forget Summer Rae? Summer Rae is somebody that I think might have a chance of turning into a very good wrestler. I think she works hard down there at the Performance Center, and I think that since sort of leaving being a Fandango girl, which honestly, when it went down, I thought was going to be one of the worst sort of things that she could do in her career. But the sort of girl power trip with her and Layla sort of started out good, and then it just turned to the complete crap, where it just basically made Fandango go away. He's going to be returning at the upcoming pre-show. It doesn't say who his opponent's going to be, but they're playing up the fact that he hasn't been on TV in months, and maybe he's going to have a new look. Who knows, maybe he's still going to be Fandango, but no, he's no longer going to be the dancer. Maybe something that's sort of like, my homeboy down there in WCW, Alex Wright, went through, where basically, he came out and he was the Boogie Nights guy, and then all of a sudden he shaved his head to become Berlin. And then once he became Berlin, then he went back to doing the dancing thing, but he didn't have any hair. So, I don't know, maybe Fandango's just going to come out and he's going to be a total badass from now on. But I really don't even know who to pick in this match. I don't even know how to really hype this up as being something. Honestly, there's 8 girls in this match. So 7 falls till we find a winner at the most. Hell, if we're lucky, we might get all 8 girls counted out at one time, and it go from there. I mean, I don't think anybody's really going to be expecting a whole lot from this match. If I had to put money on who the winner is going to be, I'd say it's going to be Paige. But in my heart, I'm going to be rooting for my girl, Alicia Fox. She's my favorite of all these girls. Probably the best wrestler out of this whole deal is Paige. She's had the Divas Championship. Out of this list, Layla's been a Divas champion. I was about to say she's the only one in this whole group who's been there. I think that Natalia's had it, but I can't remember it being anytime recent. Alicia Fox has had it, but it hasn't been since 2010. But, all these girls are going to go out there, and in the words of Vinny, they're going to try real hard. So that's basically all you really have to look forward to. I can't really think of any real big build of anything that's going down unless you've been watching along with Total Divas, where they try to make the storylines from basically television match up with what's going on on Monday Night Raw as well, even though sort of like things don't really mix up to what's going down. One of the cool things they could do is if Tyson Kidd, who is it right now, doesn't have a match on the show, maybe if he comes down to actually manage Natalia, and maybe Tyson Kidd is the reason why Natalia gets out of this match, whether he's got his headphones on, or he comes down to ring and he starts talking with maybe one of the girls that's either on his team or maybe one girl that's on the other team, and then shows some interest in maybe Layla, and then she gets distracted and she gets hit in somebody's finisher, and then playing up the whole, divorce angle from the show. We haven't really seen a big blow off from the Funkadactyls match. It was Cameron that got the win on the kickoff a few months ago. I believe it was at Payback. I'm not sure. But we haven't really seen anything from either one of these girls. I'm not sure if this is Naomi's return to wrestling, but I haven't seen her anywhere around it. I know that when the team broke up, people said that she was actually going to go in and actually have her eye that got damaged by Oksana, that she was really going to get it fixed, and she was going to have surgery, and maybe this is her coming back. I don't know. The Divas elimination match last year wasn't really anything to write home about, so I'm not really expecting a whole much. So we'll see what goes down. We're going to take a short little break, and we'll be back with the next video. In the next match, this one's a blockbuster for the WWE Tag Team Championship. You got the Dust Brothers going up against the teams of the Usos, the Matadors, Sandow, and Miz. I don't know if they have some sort of a secret name or something like that I don't know of. Maybe they're just known as Mizdow. I'm not sure, but I thought that was the name that Damien was going under, was just being now known as Mizdow. Ever since he's came in and he's been the sort of sidekick, lackey, stunt double to the Miz. He's found some new success to WWE. I think a lot of people really thought that when the releases came out in July, a lot of people were really surprised that Sandow was able to squeak through. He was a guy that wasn't getting a lot of face time on WWE. His gimmick of being sort of like the genius in the blue robe, sort of trying to make himself seem smarter than everybody else, had basically been dropped. He was showing up on shows doing the Charlie Haas gimmick of basically just wearing, other people's stuff and acting like them, making fun of the local celebrities, trying to get any kind of cheap heat as he could. The Dust Brothers have been good tag team champions. I think you can really see that Goldust seems to never age, and Cody Rhodes has sort of found a way to make another gimmick that I think a lot of people thought was the shits when it first went down really worked, to the point you see people at shows painting their face. You see people going to WWE shop and buying the Goldust gloves, or I guess it's Stardust. I apologize, but this is something that's really working. I know it's in the tag team division where it doesn't have a whole lot of life. I mean, the Usos were tag team champions for well over 6 months. The Matadors are a team that honestly they beat the champions in a non championship match on SmackDown just a few weeks ago. I think their last win was shortly before WrestleMania, when they needed to make this team relevant and put them into the Fatal 4-Way with the Usos. Ryback, the Wyatts, and I don't know, I can't remember. Some other team was in. Oh, the Real Americans. How can I forget about Cesaro and Jack Swagger? We, the people. You can't go wrong. I think when it comes down to it, I don't know. I mean, the Fatal 4-Way. One fall decides the whole damn thing. As of right now, Sandow and Miz are probably one of the hottest things in WWE, even though Miz isn't winning any matches. Everybody's really goo-goo gaga over Sandow. Sandow really worked when he was something that you had to watch on your own. Basically, once it got over with Sandow basically doing the figure 4 on the outside, doing imaginary man, as Miz did it on the inside. Now every time Miz is doing something in the ring, instead they show the action of Sandow on the outside. I know that they got a guy that seemed to get over, but the action's in the ring. We wanted to see the wrestling. If the guy on the outside is doing something crazy, let him do something crazy, and if your eyes pick it up, it picks it up. But I honestly can see them walking out with the tag team championships. I know that they haven't even had a tag team match that I can think of. Well, no, they had the tag match where they kept drawing all the heat, where basically Miz would be in the match and then Miz would tag Sandow in. The place would go bananas. Oh, look at Sandow, he's in the ring. And then immediately, without Sandow doing anything, Miz would just tag himself back in to basically everybody boo Miz for taking Sandow out of the match, and he wasn't able to do anything because he was the guy that everybody wanted to see. The Matadors, They got that damn bull El Torito running around on the outside. Who knows what's going to happen? The Usos are a real tag team. They really do deserve those championships. So I don't know. One fall decides the whole damn thing. I'm surprised with its lack of matches that this is not some sort of a elimination match where they give this a good amount of time just to sort of eat up the clock as it goes down with only 5 matches and 2 other named for the pre-show. I mean. The main event can only go so long. I know that it's named as the biggest match in the history of the WWE, but I don't know. I mean, one fall decides it all makes me want to go to Miz and Sandow. I'm not saying that I'm a fan of theirs. I think that I haven't seen a lot, but I think when these prediction videos start getting made, a lot of people are going to be picking them to win because they love them. I just don't see it. It's just not for me. I like Miz as a singles wrestler. Damian Sandow is a good singles wrestler, but to me, they've just worn this out a little bit too much. I did love the first time that Sandow did the stunt double stuff on the outside, but now it's just getting a little bit too much, and it's just not for me. So from here on out, I'm hoping that it's either the Usos or the Dust Brothers that walk out with the championships. But if I was a betting man, if I was in the car driving up to Reno right now and I walked up to the sports bet, I'd say, hey, put my money on Miz and Miz Dow. I think they're walking out the champs. A month ago, at the conclusion of Hell in the Cell, I don't know if it was just being just overly hyped to seeing an awesome show, which was Randy Orton against John Cena and Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose, and then getting a surprise swerve finish in the end, something that we never saw coming. We never saw Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt cross paths since basically the Shield versus Wyatts. I think they had 4 matchups. The last one ended up being just sort of like a thrown away match because the match was coming down. It was just basically a setup for Evolution to come down and just basically beat the tar out of the Shield and just leave them laying. But I think everybody's going to be able to remember those matches, and maybe that's what they were thinking this was going to be. But then again, those were 6-man battles with guys everywhere. I mean, they didn't even know where to shoot the camera because basically there was just fights going all over the arena, inside of the ring, outside of the ring, in the fans. Those matches were freaking awesome. I think everybody can remember that first teaser they gave us around Survivor Series time, where basically we were like, oh, we're going to get this match, and then they left that thing on the burner for a long time before we finally got to see who the greatest 3-man team was, and those wars were awesome. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, and my main man Bray Wyatt. They all really raised their game, and it just really put them at the top of the WWE. Everybody was following these guys. And it seems now that, basically we've stripped away and just become this singles match. It doesn't have the same appeal. I remember thinking that, man, this is going to be awesome. Basically, Bray, he hologrammed himself into the Hell in the Cell match. He didn't have to, break down the door or kick in the locks. He didn't do the Undertaker where he came through the bottom of the ring. Basically, the lantern just appeared there in the middle of the ring, and then he just appeared there in the corner attacking Dean Ambrose and laying him out to the point of, just like, wow, what the fuck was that? I mean, I think everybody's jaw dropped, Undertaker and Brock Lesnar style at the end of that, not knowing what was coming next. I mean, had Bray Wyatt joined the Authority? Was he now just sort of like a guy that was going along with Triple H? And maybe that was something that could have made the storyline for this match be a little bit deeper. Instead, they just gone off to their own little sub-world off to the side. Lots of promos, lots of talkings. We've seen these guys throw punches at each other, and seen some guys attack each other. We've got some background to the storyline of these guys. Basically, Bray Wyatt saying that he wanted to heal Dean Ambrose from his troubled past. Basically, Dean Ambrose's father being in prison and his mother. I can't remember if he said his mother was a drunk or something like that. It just reminded me a lot of the Jericho versus CM Punk storyline, which was basically a rewrite of CM Punk's run through ROH. It was almost like a carbon copy of something that CM Punk had done previously in his career. Either basically maybe some of the WWE writers thought it was an easy way out, just copying something that they liked from CM Punk's past, or maybe CM Punk brought it up as a storyline. It was something they could run with because it had worked in the past, and WWE just ran with it, thinking that that was going to be good. I think that was the build-up leading to Extreme Rules, of course, with Jericho pointing out CM Punk, going to the bar while they were over there on the UK tour, him breaking the Jack Daniels bottle over his head and pouring the rest of the bottle on him, just exposing CM Punk's dad as a drunk, and it was never being a part of his life. Somehow, the thought of his father leaving him was going to, leave him weak enough that where Jericho would be able to beat him and take the championship and become the champion. It didn't work for me. It didn't build me in. Some people have said that an Extreme Rules match was one of the best matches of that year, 2012. It didn't really work for me. It just when it came down to it, I'm not sure. This match to me is going to take a lot for it to rise from the ashes, because this is sort of a match that just isn't really striking me at all, and it should be one that's great. The promos, they really haven't been going back and forth, because of the UK tour. They had to pre-shoot some promos, basically, because they were going to be the main event of a house show that wasn't going to be close to the arena. They weren't going to be able to have them work a match and then fly them over and have them double book both nights. It's just the way it was. So we got one promo of Dean Ambrose basically sitting, I think he was in the crowd, sitting in some bleacher seats just talking, and then we got a Bray Wyatt sitting in the rocking chair, and since then they've been playing up on Bray Wyatt being able to disappear, and where'd he go, and all sorts of stuff like that. This match could be good. I'm going to pick Bray Wyatt to win it, because normally the heel will get the first win, and the guy and the babyface has to come from behind. That's going to be my guess. This isn't going to be their last match. This isn't going to be their last encounter. I'm guessing that TLC, this is more than likely going to be your tables match. Maybe it'll be your chairs match. So, going from Survivor Series to TLC, you're always looking for some sort of a spot that you can call your shot and say this is what it's going to be. So be looking out for some sort of a chair to get involved in this match, or some sort of a table to lead to the finish of this one. But let me know what you guys think, because as of right now, it's just not hitting me, and that's just me. Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt. What you guys think? Lots of talk in the Divas Championship match between AJ Lee and Nikki Bella about the champion going on right now on Twitter and social media out there. And it's not all about this match. Basically, news is broke that there is a strong rumor out there that basically AJ Lee will be leaving WWE for good this time, not taking a little sabbatical like she did, basically packing up her bags and taking off and leaving all of her fans behind, much like the man in her life, CM Punk, did, basically stating that AJ Lee is advertised on shows leading up to TLC and is nowhere in the foreseeable future. Kind of weird that WWE would let a performer like AJ Lee leave this soon before WrestleMania. Of course, any performer is gonna want to stick around for that big WrestleMania payday and make sure that they make the most money that they're going to during the year that is from January until April, making that Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, and WrestleMania. Wait a minute, somebody else left during that time too. What do you know, during that same time period? I don't know if it's true or not, but basically I think that AJ Lee is the girl who's done it all, and if she's going to be doing jobs to people like Nikki Bella, I wouldn't blame her for taking off and leaving. You don't want to tarnish, your career stature that you've made for yourself. Who knows what AJ Lee's going to get into once she leaves the WWE, if she's going to go work for Marvel Comics. Maybe she'll get into video games or something that goes along with her outside thing. Maybe, CM Punk and AJ will get some sort of reality television show where they, do shows what they look like in their normal day life. Maybe they'll be cooking stuff up in the kitchen or something like that. Who knows what's going down, but The biggest storyline going into this match is basically, Nikki and Brie. They had their match at the pay-per-view last month, where basically, whoever won became the other one's bitch. And I don't know, I was really thinking that we were going to get a whole bunch of, sort of storyline stories for Monday Night Raws and SmackDowns. And, we got the one right away where basically Nikki asked Brie to make her a smoothie, then poured the smoothie over her head. And from there, showing up on the SmackDown edition of, or the Halloween edition of SmackDown, I apologize. From there, basically, Nikki telling Brie that she wasn't going to be wrestling in the match that night because basically she had ordered a purse. I believe they were in San Antonio, and she needed Brie to drive into Dallas, pick up the purse, and bring it back to her. That way she would be able to have the most perfect accessory for after the show. When she hit the town that night, she would be able to have her brown bag. Earlier on the show tonight, basically, we talked about the Divas Elimination Survivor Series match. It's basically how all the storylines were trying to keep up with what is going down. Basically, Nikki Bella, to me, right now, is the biggest question mark on, what is the sort of universe like in the WWE. Basically, I think there's 3 different universes that the WWE lives in if you're into like this scientific sort of deal. There's the WWE universe, which involves Raw and SmackDown. There's the Total Divas universe, where basically everything in their real lives is written and scripted as if it goes along with what's going on in the show, unless something is just too much to go along with normal situations. And then there's the NXT universe, where basically, Triple H, who's the most hated man in all of the company, on the other 2 shows, when he gets to NXT, all of a sudden everybody loves this man because he puts on a great show at Full Sail University down there in Florida. Everybody goes bananas, and you get to see the new people before they come up. I think, honestly, Brie is going to be the biggest factor in this match. Of course, everybody knows that. That's why she didn't get put into the elimination match. Is she going to help her sister Nikki cheat? Of course, if you watched on Monday Night Raw, it was Nikki wrestling against Brie in a warm-up match for the pay-per-view, where Brie got the upset over Nikki, and as she was celebrating the win, AJ Lee came and attacked her from behind. Or is basically Brie going to, distract and hurt Nikki Bella to where AJ's able to pick up the win because she hates her sister so much? Is she going to be able to do this in some sort of a fashion where she won't get in trouble with her storyline? I'm guessing that if she doesn't do what Nikki does, or she does it wrong, Nikki would be able to fire Brie and she would leave WWE and she wouldn't be able to be around anymore. I don't even really know what day the pay-per-view happened last month to see if the 30-day stipulation is already up. And basically, she's going to be out there for the match, but she's not going to have to be Nikki's slave anymore. Maybe she'll be over in AJ's corner, forgiving her for what happened on Raw, and where we go from there. All I'm told is that make sure you watch SmackDown this week just to see the Nikki versus AJ hype, I guess. AJ comes out dressed up as if she is Nikki Bella, sort of playing off on Monday. Brie Bella had to dress up as AJ, so basically I guess AJ's going to show the Bellas how it's done to be Bellafied. This match right here, I'm going to be picking AJ to get the win. If she's not going to be leaving till next month, I'm thinking that the title change will happen over there, but we'll have to see what this world is like with Nikki Bella as champion of the WWE, because it could be happening this Sunday on the Survivor Series. As Triple H promoted this match, basically saying this is going to be the biggest match in the history of WWE. Nothing is ever going to be bigger than this. We have Team Cena going up against Team Authority. Basically, if the Authority loses this match, Triple H and Stephanie are stripped of all powers in the WWE. They will no longer be able to serve as basically the GM of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. Basically being able to put the face WWE superstars through triumph and tragedy, basically, making sure that they don't have the easy way to basically rise to the top. They basically, like, looking over at the Team Cena, Dolph Ziggler, a guy who's been on the verge of becoming the next biggest superstar in the WWE, who basically was pushed down after WrestleMania 29 when he became the World Heavyweight Champion, after finding out that he had suffered a concussion in a match against Alberto Del Rio. He wasn't able to do it. Basically, because of the concussion, he was looked at as if he was some sort of an injury risk. Basically, we can't be using these guys in high-quality matches because you don't know when this guy's going to have another concussion. He's going to be taken out of WWE storylines. If you can remember back to, I believe, the Elimination Chamber, which was supposed to be his first... no, I apologize. Extreme Rules, which was supposed to be his first World Heavyweight Championship match against... I believe it was against Alberto Del Rio. Or was it against Jack Swagger? Somehow the thing got screwed up because of his concussion. It ended up being a number one contenders match where Alberto Del Rio was able to beat Jack Swagger, and then he was able to have the payoff the next month at the pay-per-view where he was able to actually have his match, and Ziggler was able to defend his championship. Big Show is a guy that has been off TV for a good little while. They should be building up the fact that basically he wanted to be on television for that long while before he finally came back, but the Authority kept on not sending him plane tickets or not telling him that he was booked for shows, giving some sort of a reason why he shouldn't have been there. Eric Rowan, to me, is one of the biggest really surprises, but you see Luke Harper and Eric Rowan added to this team as the biggest sort of mystery. I think, Ryback, Rusev, their guys really getting a rub off of John Cena, Kane, Seth Rollins, really sort of bringing them up out of the mid-card into this main event spot, but I don't think anybody's ever really looking at this as sort of the biggest match in the history of WWE. It just happens to be a freaking match on the main event of a pay-per-view. One of them that should be, going out of their way. This should be dynamite. I mean, this show, the way this should have been in order to make people think of, wow, this is what we get for $9.99. This is why I subscribe to the WWE Network. Even if fans out there didn't want to watch a damn lick of this all month long, if that one weekend came when it was going to be a pay-per-view, that's all they did was turn it on. And I don't understand why people do. I've gone on in depth. We did the 1 hour show last week. I've made 1,000 videos along the way trying to say that the WWE Network is one of the best values in all of entertainment in my life. I just don't understand why people don't go out of their way to do this. I know that there are people that are cheap in the world. WWE pay-per-views for the longest time were in the $40 to $50 range. When I was a kid, they were $20 to $30, and to me that seemed like $1 million at some points. But this right here, to get the shows at only $9.99 it's like when I look at old newspaper clippings of old shows, and basically they say tickets start at like $10 and they go to like $29, and I'm like, you could have bought front row seats to this show for $29. Go back and look at old WrestleMania ads and see what the highest dollar ticket is, and see that you can get front row WrestleMania tickets for like $100. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, the WrestleMania tickets went on this year and they were $2,000 to sit in the first 8 rows. It didn't matter if you got lucky enough to get row 1 or row 8, you were going to pay $2,000. And if you're going to sit in like row 9 to 18 or whatever it was, you were going to pay $1,000. No matter where your seat was, if it was on an angle, if it was on the dead ahead straightaway, like, it is bizarre how much things have gone to. But basically, to me, Survivor Series, you should have held off. You should have ran November as if it was a normal month, giving you a whole month building up to December. And December should have been your knockout of the park dynamite month. I know that there are some little rumors out there, mostly spiked by me, saying that maybe they'll use Brock Lesnar in the on December pay-per-view, which would be TLC having the championship match against John Cena, and from there, sort of building up into the Royal Rumble, January to WrestleMania, that's where everybody gets all in on wrestling. Wrestling becomes dynamite and cool again because it is, just every week is like, I can't miss it because you never know what's going to happen, whether if it's for, the Hall of Fame inductions, whether if it's for surprise returns, whether if it's for, like the Undertaker showing up, for the first time in a year since losing to Brock Lesnar, and we all want to know what Undertaker's going to say, even though we all know he's probably going to come down to the ring, not going to say anything, making you like, if you missed it, come back the next week to hear what this dude's finally going to say about where he's been and where he's going. It's just that time of the year, everything is hitting on all, cylinders. It's like they've saved all of these feuds for a whole year, knowing that everybody's going to be coming to it. And if you were to give December away for free, you've already got them on the hook for basically when the new billing cycle comes. That's what the whole gimmick comes down to, is basically just getting people to sign up, submit their credit card information. Maybe some of them are going to call and cancel before that last day. But, the second that clock turns midnight, WWE is going to be sending out those bills to credit card companies. $10, $10, $10, $10, $10, and they're going to be raking in the money, and you've already got them on the hook for January, February, March, all throughout that WrestleMania time. You're going to be telling me you get the WWE Network in January, and you're not going to be sticking around until the end of WrestleMania and getting hooked on watching these pay-per-views. WrestleMania, $10 on pay-per-view. You're going to be calling up your local cable provider and paying $70 on HD again like people did last year. I understood last year. It was a gamble. Who knows what the hell would have gone on if basically the WWE Network just flat out crashed. It was a new system. It was not only was it the first WWE pay-per-view that was going to be on there, but it was WrestleMania, something that over 1 million people buy year in and year out. As even if you aren't a wrestling fan that watches Monday Night Raw, or you watch SmackDown, or you watch any pay-per-views all year long, you come back to the table for WrestleMania because that was what you've done for years. People who don't watch football watch the Super Bowl because it is the biggest show in the world, whether if you watch for the commercials, whether if you watch for the play on the field, you want to know who's the champion, whether if you just want to talk on the water cooler the next day about what you saw at the party, everybody watches the Super Bowl. That's why it's the biggest thing in the world. This should be a WrestleMania video instead of the Team Cena versus Authority thing. But basically, I'm just saying that WWE, they blew it big time. With this hype up for free Survivor Series. It is cool that people are going to be able to get a pay-per-view for free. They've sort of blocked out these weeks during their 1-week trials, trying to make sure that, they were going to be able to make money back with the WWE Network and people weren't going to be able to steal the show. But basically, they've panicked and they've thrown everything at the wall. They need everything to get there. And instead, we've got 5 boring-ass matches. You've got this Team Cena versus Team Authority match that nobody really believes in. You've got Dean Ambrose, and you've got Bray Wyatt in a bore fest. AJ Lee and Nikki Bella is a match that nobody could care about. They didn't put any build into that elimination match for the damn Divas match or anything into that tag title match. You got one match where basically they made the Matadors look strong by making them get a non-title victory against the Dust Brothers on a SmackDown that probably more than half of the wrestling fans that are going to be watching Survivor Series didn't even watch. So tell me that this match matters. I don't know. Ryback coming on strong is something that I've really been looking forward to for a long time. Maybe the injury was probably the best thing for him, but for the longest time when he was in Ryback, I kept waiting for Axel to turn on him. That way he could have turned babyface and could have got started a long time ago, getting that shoulder thing all fired up. I don't have any trust in Harper and Rowan in this match. I don't believe them as being on Team Authority. I don't believe them as being on Team Cena. I don't know if maybe, Bray already came down and busted up one main event. Maybe he's going to come down and bust this one up too, and having them both on each side, maybe they're going to be able to take it over and lay everybody out if Bray comes down. What are the motives going to be? You can even look at John Cena. I hate saying this because everybody wants to know, when is John Cena turning heel? We saw John Cena come out and do nothing when the Big Show, when Sheamus, when Dolph Ziggler, when everybody was getting their ass kicked. Did you see Cena come running down to the ring? We've seen Cena run down to the ring for less. We've seen Cena run down to try and help out, celebrities. We've seen him run down to try and help out Vince McMahon. We've seen Cena come down when he's seen a heel get beat up too bad. He wants to interject himself, basically just trying to let everybody know he's the man. And his own team that he got to handpick, these aren't guys that he doesn't care about. These are guys that he had to go out and he had to promote to bring on to this team. Cena watched them all get their ass kicked. He wasn't doing anything back there. There was no storyline where Cena got locked in a room, they stole his remote control and he couldn't watch the television. He got locked in some dairy freezer somewhere along the way. Maybe he was meeting some Make-A-Wish kids. Maybe he was doing interviews with Renee Young, and the authorities slipped out there and they made sure they did the beatdown when Cena couldn't do it. For all we know, Cena was standing in front of that monitor where he watched that damn Ryback match all night, watching his guys get their ass kicked, and maybe at the pay-per-view, he's the guy who's going to turn and he's going to help the authority win. And that's what's going to save his job while the other guys get fired. No way in the world that's happening. But basically, I'm just saying anything could happen in this damn match. Nobody gives a shit about Kane. It's just crazy. I mean, like, Mark Henry's a guy that came on strong during that Rusev feud, and I'm cheering with him. Now here he is, just a normal heel again. Rusev is a guy that, has some matches that I really get behind, and I keep on waiting for somebody to beat him, and I keep on like, this is going to be the one, this is going to be the one, no matter if it's, Biggie Langston, whether if it's Jack Swagger. I was rooting for Mark Henry, I was rooting for Big Show. Now in this match, he's got to get eliminated. Are they going to count that as what's going down? Because I don't really see Team Authority. I'm picking the Authority to win this match. But there's no way in the world I'm picking Rusev as the Ultimate Survivor. Are they not going to count this? He hasn't lost a match due to pinfall or submission. Is he just going to do the whole little boring thing where he gets counted out on the outside? Is he going to get disqualified and that's what's going to go down and they're not going to count it as a real loss? We're talking about the undefeated streak of Crimson in TNA now, where basically Crimson was over there losing tag team matches, but he wasn't the one taking the pinfall, so he hasn't lost the match and he's not undefeated. You just lost a damn tag team match. You lost. You're going to the back. You're the loser. It doesn't matter if Matt Morgan's the guy who gets pinned. You lost. Loser. You're done. It's over. I don't know what the hell's going to happen here. I'm picking Cena. I don't want to go through another deal of basically Cena getting fired and basically, having to find a way to get Cena, Ziggler, Big Show, Rusev, not Rusev, you're not Rusev, damn, you're Rowan, and Ryback, back onto the show somehow. I don't understand if Vince McMahon's just going to come down, no chance in hell, and then from there he's just going to say, oh, you know what, the Authority didn't have the authority to do it. If the Authority is the Authority and they're the leadership of what's going down in the WWE, it doesn't matter if Vince McMahon should be able to just say, oh, fuck it, that doesn't matter, because then you're just saying the last 5 weeks of television, or however long the build is for Survivor Series, just throw it out the window and all of this didn't matter. Sometimes you need to do that in wrestling because basically maybe you do make a little bit of a mistake and you want to find a way to correct it, or maybe you just want to blow everything up and start from scratch because nothing's really working. But I don't know. As of right now, John Cena has a shot at Brock Lesnar. He's the number one contender whenever this guy just decides on showing back up to work. To me, that would make Survivor Series a whole lot more fun if we just had a damn champion who would show up on the show. Brock Lesnar, having the championship and just, walking off TV and not one person mentioning, when this guy shows up, I'm going to be the guy who beats him. Why does this guy just get to leave and just not show up to work anymore? I know that he's, contractually obligated not to be there because he only has so many days that he can work in a year, but he's the fucking WWE champion and he's nowhere in sight. It makes no sense to me. It shouldn't make any sense to you. I can't see anybody who is a big Brock Lesnar fan who thinks, oh, there's no big deal that he's not showing up on Monday Night Raw. But this is, damn Survivor Series. Let me know, are you guys fired up? Because I'm getting fired up about how much I don't care about this show. Am I going to watch it? Yes. WWE Network, I love you. This is a pay-per-view regardless. So I'm going to be watching. Hopefully it'll be 3 hours of fun. I don't think there's enough matches. There probably is going to be a lot of filler. So it is what it is.